Hello everyone, today I'm at Bishopwearmouth Cemetery. Now this video is going to be a sad one. I know a lot of them are sad, but this is like a bit about one of probably the darkest day in the history of Sunderland. Just so you know where we are, there's one of the entrances on Chester Road, and we're just going to head over a little section. Now today is June the 16th, and that is the anniversary of the Victoria Hall disaster. 16th of June 1883, one Saturday afternoon. Hundreds of children were at a children's show, and there was I believe there's going to be a free toy handed out or something, and lots of the children sort of rushed down, and sadly there was a crush, and 182 were sadly died that Saturday afternoon. As a result of that, that's where we get fire doors from. It sounds bad enough, but there could have actually been even more. I think it was nearly about 1,200 or something children at the venue, and hundreds were injured and so on. And the bodies were laid out on that afternoon, and the parents had to come and collect them and literally take them home. So one of the lesser known things about that particular story. Now, I'm not going to go much into the Victoria Hall disaster itself, because you can just go online and you can find loads on Wikipedia. It's well documented and you'll get the full story there, but this is just about the aftermath in one particular cemetery at Bishopwearmouth. Now, the mayor had wanted to have all the burials on one day, but it wasn't feasible. So it was done over 3 days at the three main cemeteries: Bishopwearmouth, Knowles and Sunderland Cemetery. The worst, I think, was one person from South Shields was buried at South Shields, and maybe another graveyard in the area, but the majority were at these three big cemeteries. And Bishopwearmouth's got 80 acres, it's absolutely huge. When I do these videos, I'm only ever in like probably a certain section of it. I don't show you the modern bits and the more recent stuff, but it was a logistical nightmare to try and bury 182 children. Think of the undertakers, the grave diggers, so it was sort of staggered. So in those 3 days, the 19th, 20th and 21st of June 1883, 116 children were buried just in this particular cemetery. Most of them were buried in this section, which was like with the Anglican established religion. There are some in the Catholic section, and there's some in the non-conformers, which is children who are from Methodist families and so on, and a couple were in private graves. So most headstones you ever see with the Victoria Hall mentioned, the children aren't actually buried there. That's normally where the parents have died years later and added them on. But at Bishopwearmouth, this is where most of them are actually buried, in this particular little section here. So we're just going to have a look at some of the headstones. And the children, in each grave, 2 children were put into one grave in 2 coffins. The grave diggers had to pause during each particular service out of respect. Thousands attended the cemetery over those few days. Blinds were closed. Some really sad stories in the newspapers about those particular funerals. If you think 182 children, add up all the parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles, cousins, siblings, school friends, and so on, it must have touched tens of thousands of families, really close. And often some of the school children would come up in classes and put flowers in the graves. So this would have been a really busy place over those 3 particular days. So this is the most headstones you'll see in one particular section. We're just here, so we'll just have a look over here. Now this one is for Kate, daughter of William and H. Newton, who met her death at the Victoria Hall, June 16th, 1883, aged 8 years and 4 months. A lovely being, scarcely formed. Sadly, that has worn away quite a bit in the last year, because I've taken pictures of this before and you could read it straight off without actually, I haven't got my torch with us, It's a gorgeous sunny day here. It's to do with flowers and buds and youth, but that particular family lived at Carter Street, which is the Crowtree Leisure Centre was built on top of, where the swimming pool is. So that's Kate. She's also known as Katherine. Obviously back in those days, Katherine, Kate, interchangeable. And then we've got Catherine Ann, daughter of Thomas and Hannah Taylorson, who died March 1885, aged 1 year and 8 months. So she isn't a Victoria Hall disaster victim. These are some of them here. Because this area here, if you notice, there isn't many particular headstones on here. This was generally as a common ground where people just purchased a grave. Not purchased a grave, purchased a burial at a particular spot. You didn't have the right to put up a headstone. You might have had to wait a certain amount of years before you could put one up. Because there'll be thousands of people buried in just this section here. Lots of people who are buried here are mentioned on headstones in other sections of the cemetery. So we've got here, in loving memory of William Rochester Fox, who was killed in the disaster at the Victoria Hall June the 16th, 1883, aged 8 years. Yet speedily was he taken away. That's the epitaph of the parents. If you have got an interest in the Victoria Hall disaster, and you have got family ancestors whose families lost people in there, or you have an interest in it, there's a Facebook group called the Victoria Hall Disaster, which has got lots of pictures in, lots of the history, and a lot of stuff that you don't find in like books and online, because people have researched, gone into details and so on. There's lots of pictures there, so you might have like distant relations mentioned. And that's in loving memory of William, son of John and Mary Miller, who was killed in the Victoria Hall June the 16th, 1883, aged 11 years and 6 months. So some of the children range from like 4 or 5 up to, I think the oldest was about 13 or 14. But you can find all the victims online. In loving memory of Alfred Edward, the beloved son of William and Sophia Kirby, who was killed in the Victoria Hall disaster. When I've been over me in Old Cemetery, in the corner there is a headstone, and there are actually 3 children who were buried. I think it was the Watson family in that one particular spot. But one family lost 4 children, and that was the Mills family. And there is a headstone in the cemetery, which I've got time, I might have a walk across and try and show you where it is. But they won't be buried there. Well, there might be. I've never actually researched them. Possibly they're in here, or they're just mentioned on the parents' grave. In loving memory of John, son of William and Henrietta Howard, who was killed in the Victoria Hall disaster, June the 16th, 1883, aged 6 years and just 8 months. And that's how young they were. When you read some of the stories, these little kids, some of them went off with their friends, no parents in those days, just went off from all over Bishopwearmouth, Cemetery, from Sunderland to the shore, but never came back. And here's another one, in loving remembrance of, that's 3 children of Francis and M.E. Henderson, who were killed in the Victoria Hall disaster, June 16th, 1883. So I think there was one family lost 4 children, there was several lost 3, there was a lot lost 2, and there was loads who lost 1. So you can imagine 160 burials of children in this cemetery in just a 3-year period. It's hard to believe. And now we've got Cicely, aged 11 years and 11 months, and then James, aged 10 years, and then Margaret Jane, aged 7 years and 6 months. They shall be mine, saith the Lord of hosts, in that day when I make up my, is it angels? Possibly angels. And then later on there's a Francis William, brother of the above, so they lost another child. Well, in March 19th, 1900, aged 18 years, at rest. That's where we are. It's a shame some of the headstones are starting to wear away. Could do with a tidy up. Could be lovely and restored. Like, look at this one here. That one there. And that one, but again, these are the lucky ones where there is a headstone. Most of the parents couldn't afford to put a headstone up. And when I go to Mean Old Cemetery, I've done the shown on the video before, there's two which are the earth, a few of them which are laid flat, which are slowly being reclaimed by the earth. It's quite busy in here tonight. As I said, it's a lovely day, and that's just going to work out whether I've got time. What time is it now? I've got 11 minutes. No, sorry, I've got 7 minutes left in this video. I'll tell you what we'll do. Walk over there, it's a bit noisy. Oh, forgot there's some more as well. In love and memory of John George, eldest son of John and Margaret Gibson, who was killed in the Victoria Hall disaster June the 16th, 1883, aged 11 and a half years, thy will be done. I'll just have a check because there might be some more actually. In love and memory of Ada Mary Davis, she died June the 14th, I think that's 1883, so she wasn't a victim of the disaster but just died a couple of days apart. I think there's a couple more. No, that's not one. Just check these last two up here. No, it's 1884. No, it's not that. Do you know what? I'm going to leave the Mills Memorial because by the time I walk over there, probably about 2 or 3 minutes, and I can never remember exactly where it is. I would have to look around for it. So, I just want to say thank you for watching this particular video. If you did like it, please give it a like, and if you want to, click on the subscribe and it'll help grow the channel. So I will see you next time, wherever that may be. So thanks for watching everyone, take care.